So this is it. 2006 Bentley Continental Flying Spur. Obviously it's the 4-door version. As you can see, it's massive. This thing is a tank, but has a twin turbo V12, got over 400 kilowatts, heaps of torque. This thing's not standard though. It's actually had the exhaust modified for a little bit of extra noise rather than being a silent Bentley. It's got 22-inch black wheels on it. All the chrome trim has been painted black. Obviously it's tinted, so it's been murdered out pretty well. A young person actually owned this previously, not an older bloke, and you can tell, man, this thing looks gangster. I want to see how it drives though. Let's go. Bentley. Well, I've never even sat or ridden passenger in a Bentley before, so I certainly haven't driven one, and I'm pretty excited to tell you the truth. Say what you want about rich people and expensive cars, but I have to admit, the moment I got behind the wheel of this thing, it felt pretty special. I feel pretty special, to be honest. You're driving over $400,000 worth of car brand new. Now, I'm not here to review the car, as we've said before, with Motive Quick Drive, because, well, I can't afford one, so what right have I got to tell some dude who can what's wrong with the car? No, I'm here to enjoy the car. Enjoy it in a way that you would, should, or could if you had the car for a weekend. And speaking of that, what would you guys do? Jump in the comments section, tell us what would you have done with a Bentley if you had it for 48 hours. Let's keep it legal and mature here, people, though. So what'd we get up to? Well, Friday night was my wife's birthday, and who doesn't want to take a hot woman out to a fancy restaurant in a fancy car? She loved it. It was a great experience. It was cool taking her out in this. Saturday night, my wife's best friend was in town, wanted to take Jackie out to dinner, so I said, jump in the back, grab a couple of glasses of champagne and let's go. So they loved it. They got chauffeured around in a Bentley with champagne in the back for the night. So that was pretty cool, and who doesn't want two hot chicks in the back of a Bentley? Saturday night, while they were out, also grabbed a couple of the boys, so let's go for a quick cruise, man. So the boys loved it. It's, you know, every single person that's been in the car has had a great time, and you know what, that's the best thing about this car, is you get to share the enjoyment, because everyone that goes in it loves it and is like, that's awesome. So you know what, say what you want about rich people spending money on big cars like this, but you can sit there and go, oh, I would have bought this, I would have bought 5 R35s for the money or whatever, but man, when you drive something like this, you feel good, you feel rewarded. It's, you know, you get to feel like a baller while you're driving it. So if you ever get the chance, trust me, it's you do feel pretty good. You might laugh at some of the people you see in them, but when you're in it, man, you don't care what anyone thinks. All you know is that you are cocooned in opulence as you cruise around. But for those wondering what it's like to drive, how is it? Well, this has 22s on it, so it's a little bit bumpy, but the interior is highly luxurious. You can definitely tell the quality difference in here. Up to you if you think it's worth the money, but like I said, that's irrelevant. But it makes you feel good. It feels good inside. It's, with 22s on it, it's still actually pretty damn comfortable. But obviously being murdered out with the 22s, this thing looks gangster. In terms of power, well, it's got a twin turbo V12, so even just half throttle, it gets up and moves pretty good. I mean, it's not fast like, you know, our Project GTR is fast or anything, but it's got plenty of torque, so it does get up and move pretty easily. But to be honest, half throttle and full throttle don't even really feel that different. So you just use that wave of torque to get you moving, very effortless. Now the exhaust on the car obviously makes the car louder, but inside the car, you can barely hear anything outside. It's pretty awesome. Now the car is a monster. It's massively long, it's heavy, it's a little bit cumbersome at low speed, bit difficult to park, but let's face it, if you own a Bentley, how often are you parking at the Coles car park while you're driving around? I'm probably going to say never. But I will say this, having the car for the weekend, I was pretty paranoid about where I left it, and that can be slightly inconvenient at times, but I now do understand why you see so many people in nice cars do 5 laps of Parramatta before they decide on where to park, because they're just looking for a park where they can either see their car or they feel safe, because let's face it, a car like this, you're going to be worried about leaving it anywhere. So it is a little bit inconvenient, but I also know why rich people now park illegally and get a ticket, or they try and park a little bit, well, rudely, and that is just so they can look after their car because they're worried about it. I did find myself choosing my parking spots quite differently to if I was just driving a normal car. But you know what? That's just how it is when you've got an expensive car, I guess. But how big it is also pretty intimidating on the road. It looks gangster. So let's talk about the good points. most important thing is you're rolling in a Bentley. You feel good, you think you look good. Whether everyone else agrees with you or not, it's a different story, but it's got good torque, it's mega comfortable, it's very gangster. Like, you look at this thing all murdered out and it looks mental. So in summary, the best way to describe what a weekend in a Bentley is like, it's a baller, man. It's a baller. Thanks, Jimmy.